Good morning or afternoon or late afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. Thanks very much for joining us, everybody. Welcome to today's Shop Talk webinar. My name is Amir, and let's go ahead and get started. Today we've got Elizabeth Fabozzi with us and Kimberly Dumas with us, and we're going to be talking all about TruePlan. So TruePlan is something. I'll just go ahead and let Elizabeth get into it. Take it away, Elizabeth.
You got it. Thank you so much, Amir. And again, good greetings to everybody. Try and cover all of those different time zones. So super excited to talk to you this morning about our new product called TruePlan. This TruePlan product is a product that's been in beta for quite a while here at Matterport, and we are bringing it out of a closed beta into an open beta, and we will soon really kind of promote this in a big launch. And so I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of information about it today, how you can get started using TruePlan, how you can register to gain access to this product, and what it's used for. So let's get started. So what is TruePlan itself? So Matterport TruePlan files are SKX files that restoration professionals and insurance carriers can easily import into Xactimate estimating software. So this is really for the insurance and restoration use case for restoration professionals, for insurance carriers, for adjusters, and for estimators. With these files, restoration contractors, adjusters, and estimators no longer have to measure and manually sketch losses. This saves valuable time so one can process insurance claims faster and a little bit more accurately. So on the right-hand side here, you're going to see two versions of the same file. The top picture there is a 2D floor plan view of what the TruePlan looks like inside the Xactimate product. And then the image below it is also a view of the TruePlan product within Xactimate. This is the 3D view of the TruePlan. So a lot of you may be asking, what is Xactimate and why are you kind of creating a product specifically around them? And Xactimate is a tool used, pretty heavily in the insurance and restoration industry, and it's used to help estimate the cost of a restoration project. It's a software that is able to associate the costs of specific line items in a restoration project. And it's able to associate these line items with the dimensional information that's produced within the sketch. And the Xactimate software allows customers to create basically a 3D representation of the property, which can be used to help estimate the cost. And what you would do is you would kind of you would go into a home with maybe a laser measure and some graph paper, maybe an iPad and a camera, and you would go into a home that had experienced some sort of maybe catastrophe like a fire, or if you got hit by a hurricane or a tornado. When something like that happens, you immediately, of course, call your insurance company, but who they will call, or who you might call right away, are these restoration contractors to help kind of restore your house to what it was previous to the disaster. And what Xactimate and estimators do is they kind of go into these homes and they try and collect as much information about that home as possible. So they're going to want to know all of the room dimensions, all of the area of the house that's damaged. They're going to want to know what types of windows there are, all to estimate the cost of how much it will take to really restore this home to what it was previously. This sketch is also used across between the contractor and the carrier to help the contractor explain what work had been done in order for them to get paid by the insurance company for the work they've done to restore your home. So this is kind of a traditional process where somebody would come in with a camera and a graph paper and really collect all of this information manually, and then take all of that information, go back to their desk, and try and translate all of this into the Xactimate software to, from scratch, basically build out a 3D model. Now, as you can imagine, anybody that's familiar with Matterport, we collect all of that dimensional data in our scans. So we go from this highly manual process to, if you actually scan with Matterport, you just have your completed scan. You press the order form right on your My.Matterport account within 24 to 48 hours. Actually, it's a lot of times they're before 24 hours, depending on the size and complexity of the property. But within 48 hours, you will receive a completed sketch for Xactimate. So a completed TruePlan product that you can simply import into Xactimate. So we go from a highly manual process to basically, if you've already scanned with Matterport, and there are many, many uses for restoration professionals and for insurance companies to take scans using Matterport, mostly for documentation purposes. So this product just really enhances and kind of levels us up in terms of the documentation we can produce for restoration and insurance professionals. So again, going from a highly manual process with individuals to a simple flow of order, download, import. So now that you know a little bit about what TruePlan is, I'm going to bring you to some pages on how you can register. So if you go to our support page, or if you just type in Google Matterport TruePlan, it will bring you to our support site here, where you can read lots of information about TruePlan itself. And then if you are able to click right here, you'll be brought to a sign up page where you can use this to sign up for TruePlan and have it enabled on your account. So once you have TruePlan enabled, you can easily order anytime on your account by simply going under this media tab that many of you are pretty familiar with. This is how you get a lot of our derivative assets, or things you can download from Matterport. We've got a new little icon here called TruePlan. Got a little bit of information about TruePlan here. And then you would just press the buy button, and then you can go ahead and press place order. You'll see this switch to processing. Once you have the spaces delivered, or once it's already completed, the TruePlan, you can go right back. You can go right back to the TruePlan icon here, and then you would just press download, and then you can see over here on the left-hand side, it opens into a zip file. I would then open that zip file and import that TruePlan into Xactimate. And we get a lot of questions around how to actually do the import once you have the file on your computer. So I'm just going to play this quick video. It shouldn't be too long. Hopefully it's not too boring for folks, but it really helps explain how to import the TruePlan and what it looks like within the estimating software. So that's a little bit about Matterport TruePlan. I know we've got kind of lots of time to discuss anything you've got questions about regarding TruePlan or anything else. So just as a kind of a quick summary here, TruePlan is a new product. It's a 3D file that we create specifically for Xactimate software to help restoration contractors, insurance carriers, really anybody involved in that claims process, to use this objective piece of truthful data to help estimate the cost of a project. And everybody gets kind of the same objective information between the carrier, between the homeowner, and the restoration contractor. So we're just super excited to bring this product to market. I think maybe some questions. Oh, I don't know why this keeps playing. I'm so sorry. The last thing I wanted to cover is a little bit of pricing. So we are pricing based on the square footage of the property. That's how we are determining the cost. And then also the cost is slightly different between the professional and the business accounts. So, you know, a way you can kind of think of it is if you're going to be ordering maybe more than 3 or 4 TruePlans a month on a professional account, it may be wise to elect to go to a business level subscription to reduce the cost of the TruePlan. So that's all I had for you today. I'm super excited to answer any questions you may have. We've got our panelists on here to also help answer questions today. So let's get started.
Okay, first question is, can the zip file be renamed and uploaded to my computer? The answer is yes. You can rename it to the file. You can save it onto your computer so you have those live files there. And you also can just download them directly into there. So next question is, do I have to have a Matterport camera to use this? Will a Rico work? The fun answer to that is no. At this point in time, Matterport has decided, due to the accuracy of different various products that we also integrate with, that we are only extending TruePlan to current Pro 2 users at this point in time.
And Pro 1.
Oh, and Pro 1, yes. Does the sketch have door/window openings removed, square footage under cabinets, etc.? Okay, I'll take that one. No, at this point.
Sorry, I was assuming if you're reading the question,
okay.
You're taking it. So that's what I'm doing right now.
No. So we do mark doors and windows on your TruePlan. What we do not do is we're not measuring any soft goods at this point. So you're not going to see. You're not going to see any cabinets. You won't typically see like bathtubs or vanities, things like that you as the restoration contractor would still have to scan. And one of the reasons for that is the measurement accuracy portion of it. We still recommend that if you're going to do something as far as like a bathtub replacement or a cabinet replacement, that you are still measuring those particular things in the field to make sure that you're getting that 100% accuracy, especially if you need to go back and reorder them in a future time.
Does this work on Xactimate version 28?
Yes, it does.
So I have, what is the cost of a project in TruePlan? I can just flash that pricing really quickly as well here. Is it possible to download a different file format? So from what I understand, no. So they come in SKX file formats right now, and we plan to use that file format moving forward. It is a format that is accepted into Xactimate. Yes, so that's the answer.
Do you guys by any chance know if that file format is accepted in other applications, or is that a format specific to Xactimate? It's not like a standard industry.
Yeah, at this point in time, I understand. My understanding is that it only works with Xact.
Okay.
So I have, is the price point per scan or a monthly fee? So each individual sketch costs the amounts on the chart in front of you. Yeah, it's per sketch right now, not included with the software subscription. It's kind of the same thing as a floor plan or a matter pack. You buy them on a one-off basis based on what scan you have. Will it be okay camera work? Yes, it will. Anything that provides dimensional data, it will work.
So we have how accurate is the sketch? The answer for that is 99% accurate, just like a Matterport would be.
Within 1%, and that goes back to what you were saying, Kimberly, with well, the other question that you had with if RICO is also something that's available, and because those are only accurate to within 4 to 8%, that's why right now at this time, until those become a lot more accurate, we can only accept Pro and Pro 2.
Yeah. For the purpose of this particular product, we need the accuracy to really be there, which is why we haven't opened it up to the other third-party cameras just yet. So do insurance estimators already use Matterport in this way? Yes, yes. So we have been in beta for 2 years now. So we've had lots and lots of customers anywhere, from insurance carriers to estimators to manage repair teams to restoration contractors. It's really a wonderful tool that's been used and leveraged for the past 2 years here at Matterport.
We got a fun one. Are insurance carriers allowing the scan to be added as a line item and paying for it? So here comes the fun question with Matterport. At this point, I can comfortably say that Matterport is being worked with 7 of the 10 top 10 carriers within the industry, as well as multiple other ones across the globe. The comfortable answer is you have to ask your adjuster at this point in time. There are 3 carriers at this point that have gone public with Matterport saying that we want all of Matterport on their scans and they're willing to pay for it. The other carriers are on an ask basis. The other carriers that are currently using Matterport that have not announced it to the industry, they're still kind of seeing it as their secret sauce. So it really just kind of depends on what that adjuster is approved for. But you will be seeing some very future exciting announcements and partnerships and integrations within Matterport in 2021. I'm extremely excited with where we're going in the industry with this. So definitely more to come in the future with that.
Super exciting
Very
stuff.
exciting.
So I have one here says, will a Pro 2 Lite camera work? Yes, the Pro 2 Lite will also work.
Sorry, they're coming in fast.
Yes, they are.
Okay, I see one that says it seems quite expensive for the scope. Would it be better to use a measuring tool and have your estimator do it? Is that pricing industry based? So it just depends, right? There's a lot of different use cases for TruePlan. It just depends on how your office is set up. Is it the most cost-effective thing for 1,000 square foot house? Probably not, to be honest. Now, is it cost-effective when you're in a CAT situation, when you are short-staffed, when you have a complex claim, right? So something with curved walls, spiral staircases, all of these are very, very difficult to sketch out. So a lot of it just depends on what it is that you're doing, how you're set up as an organization. But I think that it is absolutely a necessary tool for the direction that the industry is going. Currently, the way that it's set up, it meets SLAs for different TPAs and different carriers. So a lot of it just depends on how your business is set up and what your use case is. But especially when you get into those complex, large loss claims, this is an excellent tool for that.
Yeah. So I have a question here, Birdie, let me know if you want to add to it. So it says, I take close-ups and macro photos to show damage and add them to my document. Can I do this in TruePlan? So the beautiful thing is if you're scanning with Matterport as part of your documentation, you can add all of these 2D photos into the Matterport scan through Matter tags and really help show those, those close-ups and areas of damage. So you can actually add all of this information within the Matterport scan itself and use the Matterport scan as a piece of as a part of your documentation.
Okay, so we're getting the ones which carriers have approved Matterport so we can communicate with those adjusters. At this point, there are only 3 carriers that have gone public with Matterport. Those three carriers at this point are Chubb, AAA, and Nationwide. Have insurance carriers stepped up the use of TruePlan since COVID has affected the industry? The answer for that is absolutely. We are in the middle of a massive boom with Matterport and insurance, so much so that we can hardly keep up. So great problems to have as an organization. Definitely one of the big focuses for 2021 is to reach out to those restoration contractors that currently have Matterport and kind of reteach them how Matterport is being used in the industry, re-educate, and really show you how to get the most value out of Matterport with the carriers, with how they're using Matterport. And definitely when it comes to TruePlan, how carriers are asking for it. And when they're asking for a copy or the digital twin, one of the best use cases for TruePlan in our industry on the carrier side is if you, the restoration contractor, do your final scan on this particular job. Now, fast forward 3 years from now, after the loss is completed and a cat comes rolling in and there is no house left, that carrier can then go back to your last scan, order a TruePlan years later on that, and potentially rebuild that house approximately 9 months faster. So this is a fantastic use case for the industry as a whole, with scanning, which is one of the reasons why we encourage so much for restoration contractors to do that final scan, right? Not only does it help you with the mortgage companies, but in the ecosystem of how Matterport's being used with the carriers and specifically to TruePlan, the only people at the end of the day that benefit, is everyone. So definitely a great product here.
Yeah. Okay. So I have, will invoicing for TruePlan be billed monthly on a Matterport invoice or separate so that TruePlan can be billed to the client? So they will be billed on a monthly basis. But as you order the sketch, we do, let me see if I can share my screen here. We do show you that the square footage of the property, and you can use our pricing table to reference how much that sketch is going to cost. And then at the end of the month, you'll receive a downloadable invoice with all of the charges for TruePlan for that month. So you can use the square footage to pass that bill along, but it is on a monthly basis right now. I have, will TruePlan work outdoors? No, not right. This is for estimating the interior damage. Pretty much most of Matterport is really capturing indoor spaces.
Will there be an option for the 2D floor plans to be provided in an SKX file? So what you're talking about is the schematic floor plans. At this point in time, we do not have that option. You can trace that as an overlay to Xact.
So I have, is it possible to download a different file format? No, this is just an SKX file format right now.
So Matterport has different file formats depending on what it is, right? We have things like Matterpacks, we have our schematic floor plans. A lot of it just kind of depends on what file format and what product it is that you're looking for. Chances are we probably have a service offering for that, but not specifically to TruePlan. TruePlan is only an SKX.
Do you have an example? I can just share my screen real quickly. I can show you. So if you go to the support page for Matterport TruePlan, you can actually, so there's a sample right here. So this is a home. It's a very complicated home. So we're using it as kind of an example of the power of Matterport TruePlan because we're able to sketch this entire property for you within 48 hours. So this is the reference. And then if you scroll down, you have 2 samples you can download here, which relate to this model here. So you can go ahead, download those 2 samples, import them into Xactimate and see how the product shows up for you.
We have a question that says, I'm a realtor that scans all listings. If we have one scanned and then they have a flood or damage, will our scan before work for the adjusters to use it? The answer is absolutely. One of the biggest things that Matterport suggests with a realtor, if you're doing a house that ends up getting sold, is transfer that client. Set up your client with a free account, transfer that space over to your house purchaser so they have their property. That way, if anything happens to them before, if they're out shopping and trying to purchase furniture, they can get dimensional accuracy within the room. There's many, many cases for Matterport, but I absolutely would suggest transferring that model to a free account over to your homeowner and have them set it up. That's why we set our free accounts up.
Yeah.
Especially if they live in Tornado Alley and flood zones and anything like that. Absolutely.
It's another reason to choose you as an agent who offers Matterport. There's just so many other reasons for it to have that 3D model.
Yeah.
Can the model be adjusted in the estimating software, for example, if the restoration includes an extension? So ideally, right, you've captured everything with the Pro 2 camera or with our Pro camera as you're out there. But for some reason, if maybe you missed a room or we need to modify a measurement or something, yes, you can change it on there. But part of the reason why we went with an SKX instead of an ESX file is that it's all trackable. So we can go back in, we can edit it as a carrier, as an adjuster. We can see the changes that you've made to that scan just to make sure that we are confirming measurement accuracy as we go in. So a free account does not work with the Pro 2 cameras. Yes, you're correct, but you can transfer the space to it. So while you can't scan a free account with a Pro 2, you can receive a transfer that was done to a free account.
Yeah.
Is the hourglass working? It's actually Mercury, so it tricked you. There's not actually time in there. It's good. Let's see.
Just to confirm, my earlier scans can be converted to this. So as long as you have a Pro 2 or a Pro Series scan and you have access to TruePlan on your account, either through registering through that little link I said on the support page, or we may have already enabled you if we know, kind of know your use case. It will, you can order a TruePlan for any Pro space, no matter when it was created. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's not for Pro cameras uploaded going forward. This is for any Pro camera scanned model in the system, as long as your account is enabled. And like Elizabeth said, if you just go and register, you'll be able to do it.
Okay, how is Matterport working on including exterior measurements? We're currently using other programs to capture. At the current moment, you can capture outside with your Pro camera or with an extended version of a camera, but it's definitely not with the infrared. You have to turn that feature off depending on the light level with it. That's our best suggestion. Or you can use things like your 360 models and kind of link them in.
Yeah, you can place them outside the model, but correct me if I'm wrong, but they will not be included in any part of the sketch.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Pin them in there as like a 360 view or something like that.
Exactly.
But correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Every scan position in this model has to be captured with the Pro 2. If a single 3D scan position is captured with either like an iPhone or a 360 camera, it's just like the floor plans. You won't be able to order it. It's like that just throws off accuracy. And okay.
Correct.
That's a great call out. Yeah.
So one of the things that we'll say is if you end up doing 360 scans in it as well, handle all of your Pro 2, upload those or make a copy of it and delete the 360. So you have two versions of Matterport. One is just the Pro scan that you can upload for TrueSketch. And then the other one is your actual Matterport with everything in it. Transferring the space to the free account, will the model still have all functions like matter tags, labels, etc.? I believe so.
Said, sorry, did I miss if BLK was okay? Yes, you can get a TruePlan from a BLK product, anything that produces 3D data. So when I do a crawl space in an attic with normal background light, will it measure? So our suggestion for crawl spaces and small spaces like that is to have a light. We have like lights we suggest to actually place on the top of the camera. And you can actually place the camera inside of the crawl space and then press scan, maybe while you're on the outside, and we're able to collect all of that dimensional data. Anything that's collected with the Pro 2 camera will be reflected in the sketch. So is there any way to use TruePlan with losses bigger than 25,000 square feet? So currently in our beta product, we are not offering sketches for above 25,000 square feet currently due to, just the complexity and the speed of the offering of the product. So I will say, if you have a sketch that's above 25,000 square feet, reach out to our support team, ping them, see what we can do there. It would be a one-off kind of thing. We don't want to offer it again just because of speed and complexity and making sure we can deliver everything in time. But ping our support team if you've got a massive loss or a large loss, and we'll do our best.
Can the Pro 2 scans be combined with the Theta Z1 scans in the same space? The answer is yes, but not for a TruePlan. Okay, he has to get, is there a listing of the adjusters that I can collaborate with? Oh, come on. You got to figure out your own adjusters. I can't give you all the answers. Give me a break.
All right, and we'll get to these off-topic ones just a second. Is the deliverable effectively a rendering versus the point cloud you would get in the Matterpack? It's a bit different. So in theory, yes, it's a 3D amalgamation of the point cloud inside the Matterport. But TruePlan specifically has a lot of nuances that are specific to the software that it imports into. But in theory, yes, it's kind of a rendering of the 3D point cloud, but there's a lot more information that we need to input in there. All right, so we're back to, so now we're at the non-TruePlan question. So a little off subject, after January 31st, transferring files from new to classic plans, will that be a firewall and cannot happen? Or will there be a fee to transfer? If there is a fee, what is the fee? So I know this is a big question from a lot of folks out there. We did say that on January 1st, we're going to stop this transfer. But I don't unfortunately have any updates for you in terms of if we're changing that into a fee or anything like that. So look out for some communications from Matterport. We are highly sensitive to this policy. So please look out for information from us via email. We've got a newsletter coming out. Maybe there'll be some information in there. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to update you guys on right now.
Okay. Do you know if UK loss adjusters have started to use this type of offering? So the awesome part about the SKX TruePlan files is that they work with Xactimate and all Verisk products. The unfortunate part is not every carrier around the globe uses Exact. It's very much a US product with a little bit of sprinklings outside of the US there. So if they're using SKX or an SKX file, you can order it and use that with Exact. However, most of the rest of the globe is on a different format. Therefore, what you'll find, especially with Symbility, is that the schematic floor plans work perfect for something like that, as opposed to the SKX file. How is the blur tool coming along for release? That is a fantastic question. I actually just got a couple of updates about that yesterday. So it looks like we are not far off. Do I want to give you a drop date? Absolutely not. Because with all things technology based, it is ever changing, but it looks like it is coming, and fingers crossed coming soon. So more to follow. And I'm sure that Amir will be doing another tech talk on that as it gets closer.
For sure.
Is there a discussion with TPAs, Kimberly?
Absolutely. So if you've seen a few of the press releases that Matterport's done in 2020, you have seen that we have already started working with a couple of them, and very, very big press announcement coming in the next couple of weeks, which is a global press announcement with a major TPA player. Could not be more excited about that. But until the press release happens, mom is the word. So be on the lookout. Follow our blog and pay attention.
Yeah. So it says, I need to keep files, Matterport scans for years because I do expert witness work. Where do I need to keep all the documents for 5 years? How can I download the scan to my computer? So the beautiful thing about Matterport is we have an active and archive approach to Matterport scans. So the archived scans will not count against your total active spaces on your plan. So if you need to keep files for 5 years, just go ahead and archive them. They will be there as long as you have an account with Matterport. So you'll have all of those in archive in, say, 5 years, or maybe, however long you want to keep them on your account. They don't count to your active space limit, so you can keep them as long as you want. And as soon as somebody wants to address something that happened maybe 5 years ago, you can activate that space and share it. You can order a TruePlan from it at that point, etc. So all of the TruePlan files is a direct download to your computer. So that will be a hard download of the file. You can store that in external hard drive, or really any way that you store your current documentation. So you can archive that Matterport scan, and then you hard download the TruePlan, and you will have both of those assets for as long as you have an account with Matterport.
And also, if you happen to lose that TruePlan that you downloaded 5 years ago, it's always still going to be there with your archived.
That's true. So it'll just, once the TruePlan has been delivered to your account, there's a download button. So exactly what Amir said, you would unarchive, press the download button, and boom, you have your TruePlan immediately.
Fun question from Kevin. When can we expect the integration of the LiDAR sensors for the new Apple products to be usable with the Pro 2 camera? Hoping this will allow a transition for the using of Pro 2 indoors to using LiDAR outdoors to generate spatial data for an entire area, not just indoors. Okay, fun fact for you, Kevin. If you go onto Matterport's website on our beta, you will see the ability to join our iOS beta captures for the Apple. You can do them now. I have the iPhone 12, have been utilizing it with the new LiDAR that's come out. You definitely can scan outdoors with it. It's fantastic. Night and day between an iPhone X non-LiDAR versus the iPhone 12 with LiDAR. But at the moment, it's still mobile capture. So being able to capture an entire house with the iPhone 12 Pro is, in my professional opinion, as Matterport's resident insurance expert, I do not see it as a viable solution for a whole house at this point in time. Still doesn't mean that you can't integrate some of these scans with your Pro 2 scan, but again, then you lose the SKX, so you've got to duplicate it and do it both ways. But definitely something to join the beta for, test it out. The more information that we get as it comes in, the better our product will be. So there you go.
And Amir, I think this this next one is for you. So how do you use fly-through?
Yeah. So I'm not really sure, Paul, what you mean by that. If you can expand a little bit, I'll be happy to answer your question. I feel like I haven't contributed nearly enough to this webinar. But yeah, Paul, throw in a little bit more information. What do you mean by fly-through? Are you talking about creating the highlight reel and just kind of, using the walkthrough option as opposed to the slideshow option? That's possible. I can show you how to do that. But yeah, just kind of let me know what you mean.
So I have a question. So it says, do you ever do workshops to walk us through some of these new options that are new to us? Yes, Shop Talk. So we have these recorded and available on our website anytime. I believe, Amir, maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, you went through some of these new tools, and I think I was
absolutely.
on Shop Talk.
Yeah, we have. So, I mean, check out our YouTube channel. It's flooded. I do everything I can to keep all the tools updated, all the guides updated, put as much information about how to do all this in video format. So check out our YouTube channel if you just go to youtube.com/Matterport.
And then I have a question here about scanning large spaces. So we actually did an entire Shop Talk on scanning large spaces. If you go to either our YouTube channel or our website, we have an entire Shop Talk covering how to scan large spaces. It says that Matterport suggests not to scan above 200 scan points. This is a pretty we suggest that because once you get over 200 scan points, there's a lot of chance for misalignments. There's a lot of chance for, especially if you're in a large repetitive space, there is a chance for the Matterport to misalign a little, and those chances get a little bit higher as you go above 200 scan points. Now, this is a guide, it is a suggestion. We say you should not. But if you know what you're doing in terms of using a Matterport camera, if you've been using it for years and you know kind of the nuances, you know how to check the capture app and ensure that all of your current scans are being placed in the right place, you can scan very large spaces in one continuous scan. You just need to be highly, highly vigilant on looking at your capture app and ensuring that each of the scan locations is showing up on the right space on the capture app. It will also take a really long time to process. So it may take, maybe 1 to 3 days total to process all 1,500 scan points into a single model. So my suggestion is, if you're going to go above those 200 scan points, just be super vigilant looking at your capture app and ensuring that the camera is following and collecting all of the right information and showing it to you on the capture app the same way.
Yeah, and I would just like to add to that before I get back to Paul's question, is that it's also the navigation experience for the end user. Let's say you're able to capture so many scan positions on your iPad, and it was actually able to process, and you've actually got a model, which is great. Now, what's that navigation experience going to be like? How slow is it going to be? It kind of depends on the end user's computer and so on and so forth. So it depends on your use case. If you're not just going to share this monster house with the world, and it's more, for like what we're using TruePlan for, it's kind of like internal in your company, and you've got powerful enough computers, then yeah, maybe that's a reasonable solution. But part of the reason why we say the 200 is just to keep that experience from capture to experiencing walking through the space, the model, continuous. Is just better, I guess.
Yeah. We want the number is to create a great experience across the board from the capture to the person viewing it. If I open up my iPhone, I don't know if I'll really be able to navigate through a 1,500 scan point facility. But if that's not your use case, then, go for it.
Okay, so if I can just take a quick second to share my screen here. Let's see. I'll answer Paul's question. So how do you get a recording of your model? I hope you should be able to see my screen here. So we've got this model, and I want to go ahead and record it. A couple ways you can go ahead and do that is by first creating a highlight reel. So if you have this highlight reel, what you can do is just go ahead and click on the first scan position or wherever you want to start your recording from. I'm on a Mac, so I would use QuickTime. If you're on a PC, I've heard that Ice Cream is a tool that's used frequently to record the screen. But basically, that's what you're doing. There's no way of saying, download my highlight reel as a video just yet. But for now, what you want to do is hit record on your screen recording application. I would go into, full screen. So everything, all the stuff on the outside kind of goes away, and just record the whole screen. Move this down a bit, hit play, and just move my mouse kind of out of the way. And that way I can just kind of record this as it's moving through here. Alternatively, what I can do is just manually navigate this. So again, I'm just recording the screen, but instead of playing through the highlight reel, I can hit the letter P on my keyboard, and you can see up in the right corner here, you have a few more controls that you normally don't see and don't access or wouldn't have access to. So I can change the rotation speed and the transition speed, slowing the transition down, or if you want to speed it up. And this allows me, like for the rotation speed, I want to slow it down. That'll get me a little bit better, higher quality recording. And so when I turn, you can see that it turns very, very, very slowly. But then in my editing application, when I go and kind of piece this thing together, I'll go ahead and speed that up a little bit just to make it not as slow and annoying. The reason why I record it slowly is just to, I guess, increase the frame rate and quality of the recording itself. So remember the letter P on your keyboard. change the transition and the rotation speed. It'll give you a little bit more control when you use your keyboard to navigate. I use the letters W, S, A, and D with my left hand, and the arrow keys with my right hand, and I can just move through there like that. Again, if I increase the transition time, you can see how that affects. Now the transition between the scan positions is much slower. And again, I would just go in and have a little bit more control in the editing application on how fast I actually want it to be. This slowing down before recording actually just improves image quality a little bit. That's all. Hopefully that helps with the whole fly through thing, and you can just navigate your way as you would any model really as you're recording it.
I have a question here. We do high-rise losses and have trouble with doing more than 3 floors. What's the best way to continue scanning additional floors?
So if you heard of April tags are by far and away one of the best things that happened to Matterport. If you don't know what it is, jump on our website and take a look at it. Basically, they're QR codes. A ton of times when you enter into something like restoration or you're doing high-rise scanning or something like that, all of your floors start to look the same. Picture like a hotel. When you get off of a floor, it's the same as the 13th floor as it is on the 8th. And the camera sometimes gets a little confused optically with what that looks like.
Yeah. And one thing is to, once you're at the top of the stairs, take that last scan on the stairs, start a new floor, and then take that first scan from that next floor almost in the same area as that last scan you took. So you're going to go up the stairs, take that last scan on the stairs, start a new floor, and then scan on that top level.
Yeah, I will definitely be making a video about this. I've got some experience with scanning, like fire escape style staircases, which are absolutely identical from floor to floor. Consistency is 100% key. Having April tags is super important. And don't skip stairs.
Yes.
Scanning every 3 stairs. I know it seems like it's going to take forever, and it is critical. You really want that next scan position to be pretty well overlapped with the previous scan position. The way Capture works is it defaults to trying to initially align with the previous scan position. And if it can't do that, then it starts looking at everything on the floor. And that's when you can run into trouble, because it's going to identify the similar scan from a floor below, and it's going to merge those floors. So scanning every 3 steps. I know with the tripod legs, it's easy to just pick it up, go up 5 stairs to the next landing, and just place it there. Try to avoid that. Make sure you scan every 3 steps, and you won't run into any problems, hopefully.
So I misunderstood Paul's question. It was about the new Matterport Labs fly-through option.
Oh.
How to set that up, 0.8.
Hopefully yeah. All that. All right, Paul. I honestly haven't played with Matterport Labs. If you guys touched on that a little bit, I haven't gotten a chance to.
I haven't. I won't unfortunately have an update on that, but we'll make sure we prioritize it for the next upcoming Shop Talk. We apologize. So Patrick's following up here. So the issue he's having is when he's entering an elevator to go to the next floor. So that's your problem there, Patrick. Unfortunately, when you go in an elevator, there's no connection between the floors. So the best way to do high rises is to do that entire hallway, and then go through the fire escape or wherever the stairs are, and then scan the stairs between the 2 floors. That will help the camera understand that you're actually vertically going up. If you're just taking scans and then going to an elevator and then doing the next one, what's going to happen is something we call pancaking, which nobody likes, which is when the software kind of smashes the 2 levels together. So my advice is to go to the fire exit or wherever the stairs are, and complete your scans of those stairs, and then start a new floor once you get there and scan that entire floor as well. So try to avoid using the elevator, and go ahead and scan the stairs.
And Alternatively, Patrick, I just want to throw in one more thing here. It depends on how far apart your floors are, right? If you don't need 20 floors between the ground floor and the top floor that you're scanning, you can have just two separate models. And what people have done is they'll put a matter tag
Mm.
at the elevator or the stairs or whatever, or both, with a link to the other model. So you can just kind of warp there to the 20th floor and you don't have to scan 20 floors worth of stairs. So that's another option, is just by linking between two different models.
But do note that if you have those models as separate, you will be ordering a TruePlan per model if you're
Yes.
ordering TruePlans at all. So if you want a TruePlan for the entire high rise, you're going to have to use that scanning the stairs thing. But if you're just using it as a documentation tool to show the adjuster, or whoever is looking at it, what the space looks like, you can absolutely go ahead and use the trick that Amir said with matter tags and avoid scanning the stairs.
Have another one. Is there a way to remove April tags from the finished scan after it's uploading? So Chris, good news and bad news. Currently, no. In the future, once we start doing the manual blur process, you will be able to go back afterwards in the scan and blur out the April tags. So it'll just kind of look a little fuzzy as you're walking through it, and you won't technically see the April tag itself. Okay, sometimes it gets a bit tricky in dark places and going through doors that can't really be propped open. Any tips on those two problems? Yeah, two great tips. One, have a doorstop.
Always
Definitely
carry door stops.
yeah, definitely in your toolkit for Matterport. The second one is lighting, especially when it comes to insurance and restoration, is always a tricky tool. I have seen some fantastic setups lately with the cameras. So most people at this point, if you're getting a light with Matterport, they have the single light that sits on top of the unit. I've actually seen some expanded versions specific for restoration lately, where you're taking two cameras on top of each other on top of the Matterport. And so it's literally tilted at an angle. So the light on the bottom is getting everything up and the light on the top is getting everything down. So as the camera rotates, you're getting full lighting exposure throughout that space. So definitely recommend two lights on top of it with Matterport approved lighting.
I think we have some accessories in our support pages also that,
Yes.
yeah. So check out, do you guys know? Let me try and find it.
I have an interesting one up here. It says, I just started researching adding 360 virtual reality sound capture with an appropriate microphone for ambient sounds to give a super realistic, sensitive feel. Any guidance on this? I have not heard about anybody doing this yet. So it's kind of exciting. One of the beautiful things about Shop Talk is you kind of get a cue into some of the cool things that our customers are doing. So I will bring this back to my team, let them know that some people are looking into this, and then see if we can put out any guidance around it. But I have not heard about this at all, but super excited to research it. So thank you, Ian, for bringing that up.
Yeah, if you just go to support.matterport.com and in the search bar, just put in lighting, you'll get to a page that says lighting equipment for dark environments. And there's a list of accessories with links where to buy them, and even a video that was put together that kind of shows how this stuff is all pieces together and works.
Good tip from Oliver says use a light ball on top. I actually have no idea what the heck that is. So I'm going to go back and take a look at that. Thanks.
So we are at time.
Well, thank you very much. This was pretty incredible. Clearly, we're going to have Elizabeth and Kimberly back on to answer more questions. That was a lot of fun. I know I learned a lot because I really don't know very much about the TruePlan feature. So it's super exciting. I love hearing all the new stuff that's coming out.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much to everybody who attended and participated. We will have a recording of this available after the webinar. So if you missed any of it or wanted to go back and revisit the presentation that Elizabeth or any of the questions, you will be able to, and you'll probably get an email with that link after we're done here. And with that said, thank you so much to Kimberly, to Elizabeth. I really appreciate all your efforts and time you spent with us today.
Well, we love coming on and we love chatting directly with our customers. It's always fun and leads to a good time and lots of insights. So I want to thank everybody who joined us today as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And yeah, with that, we'll go ahead and sign off. So I appreciate it. We will have another Shop Talk in 2 weeks and hope to see you then. Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.